Hi, Erica here. I am doing another makeup video for you all today because I did something a little outside my comfort zone about a week ago. And no, I'm not talking about the drunk makeup video. That was actually totally within my comfort zone. The editing was a nightmare, but whatever. As long as you guys enjoyed it, that's all that really matters. I had fun doing it. No, what I'm talking about today is that I bought foundation online, and that's kind of terrifying for me. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, because how do you know what shade to buy? I don't know. So I bought foundation on Sephora's website, and it's foundation I really wanted to try. It's not available at Ulta, otherwise I would have gone to my local Ulta. But being that the closest Sephora is about an hour and a half away, I did not have the opportunity to go up there and hope that they had any in stock. But we're gonna see how well that the Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation actually does with my skin, but also does for a foundation match online. Okay, so I went onto Sephora's website to do a shade match, and I used the NARS foundation that was in my drunk makeup video from last week. And I use that as the reference point for matching, but I also know that that is actually a bit too light for me. And so I used the match that gave, and then I went one tone darker for the same undertones, the same everything else, which came up with the shade 1.15 Skin Tone Fair Light Undertone Warm Peach. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this because I have had a miserable time matching foundation in real life. And I know that the shade ranges are getting better, and thank God they are, because we needed some progress to be made there for everybody. But mine has always been really difficult because I am very fair, but I am very pink. Like, I'm crazy pink. Like, you can see I'm pink throughout. There's no hiding. And oh man, can I blush. You say something that's the slightest bit embarrassing and I will turn beet red, like head to toe. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a go. And then I've got a few other things that I've just recently acquired. My husband was so kind as to complete my Jeffree Star Cosmetics eyeshadow collection. I just wore the Androgyny palette the other day and I really love the look I came up with. So today I'm going to play with the Beauty Killer palette and I'm going to show it to you all. Isn't that pretty? And I love his eyeshadows. I mean, can't go wrong. So we're going to play with that. Also new, I got the Fenty Fly Liner. I haven't used this yet, but I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about it. And as somebody who likes to do a wing liner, I am hopeful for really good things out of this. So we shall see on that. And then also, because it's gotten a lot of reviews from a lot of people, I did go and get the Coty Airspun from Amazon. And I think it's like, I don't know, it's under $6. And so I'm going to play with that as a setting powder today, along with a lot of the things that you otherwise normally see me do. So I am probably going to cut this video up and not necessarily show you the whole process, but more so the outcome. Although the big emphasis for me is how well did Sephora's Shade Matcher work in picking my shade. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I am going to start with some primer. I am still, as I knock stuff off, I am still trying to finish off the last little bit of the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. And yes, this is the last of it, hopefully, and then it'll be in no more. Oh, and my husband also got me a Jeffree Star mirror. So you will start to see this showing up as well. Now my primer has been setting for a couple of minutes, so I am ready to go in with that Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. So we're just gonna jump right in and see what happens. It's looking yellow. I don't know that I like it. I need more. Initial thoughts? I actually think the shade is quite nice. When I first put it on, I'm like, oh God, this is yellow. But I think it's actually blended out quite nicely. I think it matches quite well. It's not as full coverage as I thought it would be. Like, my blemishes are still popping through, which that's fine. I've got concealer and we'll set that and all of that, but I'm a little confused. I don't like how it blends. I feel like it went on and then it wouldn't move. like trying to get it even out as I was working with it, it did not want to work with me. And I'm using a damp beauty sponge. I don't know what the problem is. I've never encountered that with a foundation before. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I mean, like, it's doing a nice job. I think it's giving a nice look minus the blemishes popping through. And the color match is probably, I mean, if I'm totally honest, is probably one of the best color matches I've had, where I'm going, okay, I actually look the same color as I am. And it's not totally hiding my freckles or anything like that. They're still popping through. So full coverage might be a bit of a, I mean, maybe if you layer it. I don't know how well it layers, but I don't know. I've been using the Juvia's Place foundation for my full coverage, and that is its full coverage. Like, I would go back with that and tap on a little on these blemishes, and that's all the concealer I would need. Maybe I'll try that with this. Okay, I'm actually happy with how that worked. You come back in with just a dab of this and use it like a concealer, just really concentrated, putting it on and trying to blend it out a little bit at the edges. It's not perfect, it's a little splotchy, but I'm hoping with some powder and stuff we can even this out, but it's much less apparent that I have a massive breakout going on. It is officially time now to start playing in the Jeffree Star Beauty Killer palette. So there's the palette, nice and close for you all. I am going to dive right in and I'm going to show you guys how I basically do my makeup on a regular basis. I do like to start with a transition shade. So today we're going to just take a fluffy Morphe brush. It has no number on it. It is just a Morphe brush. You guys can kind of see there. And a little bit of Courtney on there. Tap off some of the excess. So I take this basically from just under my brow, not quite to the brow, and take it all the way across into the inner corner and down basically to my crease. I usually try to leave my lid blank until I am ready to do my lids. Okay. So yeah, just coming in just a little bit under the brow and take it all the way out to the edge. Okay, there we go. Transition shade has been applied. And then usually for the next shade I will come in with the same brush. Let's just take a little Confession. It is a slight metallic. It's not super shiny, so let's see what that does. And with this, I will usually start at the outer corner of my crease and pull it up along that same path I just did with the transition shade, just not going quite as close to the brow and not going quite as far into the inner corner. So that's usually my goal. My goal is to stay above the crease. Okay, so there we go. There's Confession. And next we're going to come in with a smaller brush. This is the Inspire brush 282 Eye Fluff. So it's a little bit smaller, as you can see, but it's still fluffy. And I'm really, really, really liking the shade Violence. Not that I like violence, but I really like the shade. It's a really pretty deep purple, and I don't know if you can tell from behind me, but I'm kind of fond of purple. And with this, I come again at the inner, the outer corner, right at the crease. Again, trying to stay at the crease and above. And I'm gonna be a little more concentrated with it, staying closer to the crease and closer to the corner. So not taking it quite as far. Again, still the same small round dabbing motions that I like to use. Okay, so far so good. I'm gonna leave that like that for right now. If I was really wanting to push it, I would come back in with the shade like Vanity, which is a very deep charcoal sort of color, and really push that in the corners. And maybe we'll come back to that. But for the meantime, I think we're gonna start working on the lids. And for the lids, I like to start with a fairly wide flat brush. So this is the Jeffree Star, the Morphe X Jeffree Star JS11 brush. So it's a flat brush, it's not as fluffy, but it's a fairly wide one. We will go with Rich Bitch. And this is definitely metallic. It's got a little bit of fallout, and I like to really pack the flat side of the brush and basically start at that outer corner and just essentially pat this on and have it be really, really rich, really pigmented, and really build it up. And I like to take it about halfway across my lid. So that is Rich Bitch. And I'm just knocking the excess off with my brush sponge again. And now I think we will go into Princess, which is a very pale lavender metallic sort of color. I do like to work from darker to lighter as I go towards the inner corner. And for this, I think we'll go just shy of the inner corner itself. So again, just like the last one, come on in, pack it in, really, really, really stamp it on essentially. Kind of moving it back and forth where the two colors are overlapping. Back to that generic Inspire narrower fluffy brush and back into some of the Violence. And I'm just going to try and darken up this outer shadow. Same placement, just more pigment. Lost the Rich Bitch. I don't know where she went. She's gone. Do you see her? I don't. Oh, there she is. Okay. So back to Inspire fluffy brush and just taking a little bit of Violence to the lower lashes on the outer corner. And I'm gonna go in with a, it's a Bella Pierre Cosmetics eyeliner brow brush number 18. And just finish out the lower lashes, and I think we're gonna go back in with some Confession and kind of take that across to the middle. I think this is where we play with a little bit of expensive, is bringing that from the middle of the lower lash into the lower corner, basically. Just that little extra pop of color there along the lower lash line. I'm back in with the Inspire generic brush because I just want to show you how I would deepen this up a little bit to really smoke it out a bit more. And like I said earlier, I would go in with the shade Vanity. Okay, and I would just get just a little bit of it and really just that outer corner. Bringing it ever so slightly down along the lower lash and ever so slightly in just above the crease. Almost done. I'm going to go put on some eyeliner, some mascara, and I am going to find a shade of lipstick because I didn't know what I was going to do with this look, so I haven't picked lipstick yet. And again, for the eyeliner, I'm going to give that Fenty Fly Liner a try. And I am still using my Bad Girl Bang Benefit mascara. I got the travel set, so finishing that up, and I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, I am back, and I have finished off my eyeliner with the Fenty Fly Liner. I really like the application. I had a little oops moment, but I think I've fixed it, cleaned it up. So nothing wrong with it. I've been using an e.l.f. liquid liner, and it's the H2O proof liquid liner from e.l.f. And that one's not bad either, honestly. The Fenty has a slightly more flexible tip, and it's a little more smooth in its overall application, but there's a significant price difference between the two. So will I continue to be content with my e.l.f.? Yes. Will I really like the Fenty? Yes. There's no wrong answer there. And I decided, since I went for a more subtle smoky eye look, that I would do something bold on the lips. So I am wearing Jeffree Star Cosmetics shade Huntington Beach all over, and then a little bit of the Bronze Blood just kind of in the center to give it a nice little metallic finish. And that is my look for the day, and I really like it. I don't know about you all, but I love the shade Huntington Beach. I think it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy the compliments I get when I go out wearing it. So I hope you all like this. I will update you guys later as to how this is worn throughout the day, probably in the comments. I'm not going to come back and make another video about it. But so far, really happy with the shade match feature. So if you have a foundation that you like that Sephora sells, that is the caveat, you can enter the shade name that you're currently wearing, and Sephora will try and match you to the best of their abilities with the shade of a new foundation that you're looking at. So they did not fail me on that, especially since I went darker, knowing that the shade Yukon was a bit too light. I'm really happy with the shade match. The rest of it, it feels good, and we'll see. Okay, bye.